Alright, so take 13. Alright, so I'm Retroverse. I run Super Mario Land. I'm currently tied for 5th place. I have a 1236. I run on BGB, but I am now moving over to Super Game Boy 2, and I wanted to make a video demonstrating that I know how to play this game and know how to know about this game. So if I had to commentate, I could throw out some facts. I'm still pretty new to using controller, so I'm not going to be able to nail every trick every time. I'll hopefully be able to demonstrate enough cool tricks that the game will appear as cool as it is. So I suppose without further ado, we'll get started. Alright, so this is 1-1. There's not a whole lot going on this stage, just avoiding some bad guys, landing on some platforms, don't fall in the hole. There's really only one challenging trick, which is coming up right here, which we got. Okay, so there's a 2-frame window right before that pipe, where if you jump, you can make it over the pipe and land on the column following the pipe. And it allows you to go max speed. You don't have to slow down. You don't mess up anything, and you can complete the level as fast as possible. Other than that, there's not much that you can lose time on as long as you know the stage. There's some tight jumps, but it's not that difficult. Here we're on 1-2 again. Not super challenging. We have to weave in and out some bad guys and make some platforms. It was a pretty good pyramid there. Unfortunately, we missed the buffer jump, but like I said in the previous run, there's a backup, and we just did it. It's not too difficult. Just get the backup and move on. It might even be worth going for the backup, because I'm pretty sure in that question mark block I jumped off of, there's a 1-up. It might be worth considering getting that just because for marathon safety, since this game is pretty dangerous in terms of marathon safety, just because you only have 3 lives and it's not very friendly with giving you more, and game over is a reset from the beginning. Alright, so we're making our way through 1-3, moving up some, just kind of avoiding bad guys more in this stage than platforming and landing on platforms precisely or anything. At the end, we're going to jump over the boss, land on the switch. And we'll see if we got the fast thank you, which is if you're holding right and run, B, and you land on the switch without hitting the door in front of you, you actually run to Daisy as opposed to walking. Let's see. And we did get it. So you'll see here, Mario will run to Daisy as opposed to walking. It saves you a few frames. At the end of bosses, you get a bonus, which can be an X1, X2, X3, or Fire Flower. The X's are the number of lives you would receive, and the Fire Flower is, well, the Fire Flower. Ideally, you don't want to see a ladder, because a ladder, as you'll see here, causes Mario to have to go walk up or down the ladder, which will lose you a little bit of time. If you're new to running this game, I would not fret over the ladders, but later, basically the top 5 runners of this game, top 6 because 5th is tied, their scores are more or less separated by the RNG of the bonuses on the bosses. It's a big deal at the very top, but well, let me rephrase that, because the world record's completely ridiculous and that guy is insane at this game, but many of the runs at the very top are separated by what bonuses you got. So now, to talk about 2-1, at the very end you'll notice there was the brick box we had to jump out of. I call it the jail because it's very easy to bonk on the top of the jail and having to end up kind of lining yourself up to get out of it. There's a way to avoid it entirely, but you have to do what's called the impossible jump, which is the hardest jump in the game. And I don't go for it currently, but it's really cool to see. It's something I'll practice and hopefully be able to do by the time if I ever do get featured in a marathon with this game, that I would be able to do consistently. But it's a fraction of a frame. We're talking like, it's called impossible jump for a reason. 2-2 doesn't have that much to talk about. There are some really tight jumps at the beginning of that stage. It's unfortunate we died when we did. It's one of those tight jumps. And getting under the seahorse near the end of that level is kind of the challenge, one of the challenges. But now we're on to 2-3, which is a shmup. It's an auto-scroller. It was a really good time during marathons that involved donations. A really good time to read through donations. However, something to talk about during the stage is the screen wrap glitch, which if Mario is being pushed off the stage by a block or some sort of terrain like this one, for instance, if you hold the back button, hold left, It'll actually wrap around the screen. So what we can do is wrap around the last boss, the boss on this stage, and land on the switch behind him, him or her, sorry, and finish the stage before we even see the boss. It's just over. It's not something that I'll be going for in this video, but it is something that I know how to do on keyboard. I do it in my runs. I get it very consistently. It's something I'd be practicing on controller as well. However, this is only possible. The screen wrap glitch is only possible on a 1.0 version of this game, which is a 1.0 cart, which is a release version of this game. Any Nintendo Selects version, any later release version or reprint is not going to be able to do the trick. If you try to do it, it'll kill Mario. Which, you know, it's a bug fix. It's a patch. It got patched out. Retro patch. However, we went for the safe strat on the kill, on the safe strat on the boss, where you just sort of rush the boss and go under him and finish the boss before they can hit you, really. It's pretty easy to get hit by accident and lose Big Mario, which is unfortunate, because you really want Big Mario for this next stage. However, let's talk about these jumps. So, it's possible for the bad guy, whatever it is, the bug, the octopus in this case, to only have to jump twice, which is what you just saw. That's lucky. It's a lot more likely that you'll see the boss, you see the bad guy have to jump 3 times, and it's completely random what you get. However, there's a frame count to it, but I'm not familiar with it enough to tell you what it is, unfortunately. But regardless, it's not something you can control, really. Now, on that boss fight, we got a Fire Flower, which is actually really good for speedrunning. For a marathon, we want safety, so we're not super excited to see it. However, take a little backup strat there, be safe. The reason why Fire Flower is good there is because you are supposed to be Big Mario at the end of the level, so getting Fire Flower is actually faster if you already have Big Mario than the next one, because the animation's shorter. Now we'll see here. Boom, we got it. We got both rock skips and spike skip. It's actually the first time tonight, so let's see if we can get this one through. Yeah, that was a really good 3-1. That involved both rock skips and the spike skip. And as you can see, as the rocks were spawning, we were actually jumping on them before they were even really in a reasonable distance and launching ourselves over them. And the spike skip is why you need Big Mario. You land on the spikes and actually just use your iframes to run all the way across them. It's 6 to 8 seconds faster than having to wait to actually ride the rock all the way across that gap. So we'll take it safe here. 3-2 is a very spooky level. There are a lot of moving pieces on this stage, so it's very challenging in both casual playthroughs and as a speedrun, because there are a lot of little things that can really get Mario and you know, cause you to lose your life. So kind of unfortunate, but thankfully we had a really smooth 3-2. The only thing we could have done better probably was there's what's called a spider skip. We took it safe through that section because I'm not very consistent at getting the trick. But now I'll go ahead and pause here actually. For 3-3, 3-3 has got what are called buffer jumps, where you basically jump on a platform before you've landed on it. So we're going to do two sequences of two, well, really 3, and then 2 or 4 of those jumps. So we'll see if we get it. But this is by far the second hardest trick, and the first hardest trick being the impossible jump, which is not really a reasonable thing to ever really expect to go for until you're at the very top of running this game. We're talking first to third place. So we got the first section. Let's see if we get the second. And we got the second. Wow. Okay, so, alright. This run is actually going very well. So here we can do a quick skip and not have to go through the maze. We just fall off the platform. As long as you line up, you get the timing on the first one, you can just sort of fall off the first platform and go to the second. So rock skip here. Missed it. Dang. Okay, so there's a rock skip here where you do a mini jump. And there we go. Okay, and we just jump over the boss and complete it. Now, ideally, we would land on the platform above the boss and then fall onto the switch, because it's the only way to guarantee getting a fast thank you, but we'll see what we get here. I don't think we're going to get it, but we still might. No? Okay, so you'll see here the comparison. Now we're going to see Mario walk to Daisy. It just takes a little bit longer, but it's one of those things that it's... With some consistency... It's easy to get, so it's just one of those time saves that are pretty consistent. Okay, so we got Fire Flower. Now, in a real run, that's what we'd want to see, and the reason why is right here. Boom and boom. So we can kill those Piranha Plants without having to wait for them to go back into the pipe. Also, having the Fire Flower allows us to go for a strat in the next level, as long as we can maintain Fire Flower. So, you know, that's what we want to see. Now, in a marathon, maybe not. Now, there's a way to make this section a little faster that involves having to land on that bullet bill, but I went ahead and took it safe. So here we are. We're on to the Superstar section. Looks cool. Wow, that went very well. Okay, so on to the next section. It's a real lag fest in here. Okay, so we need Big Mario for this next level, so it's really unfortunate losing Big Mario there. It's actually pretty easy to avoid, but unfortunately I didn't land... After the first set of pipes, when I jumped, I didn't make it to the above the bad guys, so I had to kind of weave through them, and it's really easy to end up getting hit in that section. Okay, so we want Big Mario here for this reason. Right here. Okay, so we're just going to deboost through all of this. Make it over here. That bullet bill being there is pretty unfortunate. The reason why it needs to be very precise... Ah, crap. I didn't think that Piranha Plant was going to come down being so close to it. The reason why it needs to be precise is because... and that bullet bill really threw off the timing is because if you deboost through the first section and you come through the second section, that Goomba can lock you in, basically. You're basically guaranteed to die. So here's another cool platforming section. We're going to grab this. Ah, crap. I didn't have enough momentum there to pick it up. If you're running and you jump, Mario jumps higher. Oh, that was a mistake. Alright, so let's play it safe here. Alright, I'm going to go for a safe strat here and grab the mushroom. Because I don't... Alright, we'll grab it here. We'll take the safe platforms. It's possible to not have to wait for the cycles on these, but it involves really precise jumps, and I don't want to go for them at this moment. So the reason why I grabbed Big Mario, normally you don't have to. You can actually make it through this entire section to that Piranha Plant and not have to lose Starflower. However, I grabbed the Big Mario just in case it did wear out, which it did. And I got Big Mario just to deboost through the Piranha Plant. So now we're on to the final level, which is another shmup. This level can be very challenging because there's a lot of bad guys. And I mean it, there's a lot of bad guys. So something I suggest, there's actually a way to screen wrap on this level to hide on the outside of the screen where you actually can't get hit. I don't know how to do it, and I don't go for it. But something I would suggest is constantly making shots up, down, but do not shoot your third shot. And the reason why is because if a bad guy slips through your shots, like this, and you don't have your third shot, you're out of luck. You can only have 3 bullets on the screen at a time, so you want to... This will manage the bad guys enough. And if one slips through, you can shoot it. You'll have your third shot. But if you don't, again, you're out of luck, you know? You can actually destroy the, these... You can actually destroy those too, but it's not necessary. I would not recommend trying to destroy them. I just recommend going around. There's a star flower, star right there if you need it. However, I would not recommend getting it, and this is not something I mentioned yet in this run. I would not recommend getting it because there's a chance on any star in this game that when the star runs out, when the music stops, it can actually lock up your game. And it has something to do with the audio in this game, where when the can ends and the music starts, the stage music starts, it'll just freeze your game. That's it, locked out, completely done. I saw Darbian lose a really nice PB to it. He got redemption later, but also this is something you can do to scare the audience. Oh no! Oh, my controller! Oh no! Ah! Ah! And then, all right. So anyway, yeah. it's really unfortunate when it happens, and it's actually completely unavoidable. In 4.1 and 4.2, for the speedrun strats, you have to get the star, right? You have to damage boost through the areas that you saw in this run. It's just part of the speedrun. However, it can lock up. There's really nothing you can do about it, other than having a save state or something. There's nothing you can do about it. So I screen wrap around to the last boss, and then we're going to just jam AB and blast the crap out of him. And then the next boss appears, and we'll hopefully one-cycle him. Didn't quite one-cycle. So ideally you kill him before he goes up the top of the screen, because then he has to come over and come back down. However, that was the run of Super Mario Land. I didn't have a timer going because I'm a big dummy, but that was a pretty solid run, actually. That was... I don't know if it was sub 14, but it was definitely sub 15. I would be surprised if it wasn't sub 14, to be honest. But maybe I'll be able to figure it out when I cut the video later. So anyway, this has been kind of a test video for Super Mario Land. This is a video I'm going to be using to submit to various marathons in the future. So I hope that this has demonstrated that I understand a lot about this game. I really enjoy this game. It's kind of like my game. This is my first speedrun game. It means a lot to me. It's a challenging game. I don't see it on very many marathon lists, and I'm not sure if that's because not many people are wanting to take the game on, I guess, in a marathon setting, because so many things can go wrong, or because it's just generally not a marathon safe run. However, I think with enough practice, this can definitely be a marathon safe enough run. I did it on a GDQ hotfix back in April. It went very well. I got a 13-12, I believe, in the final run with 3 deaths. Did a race with Ape, who is currently our second place runner, and honestly, I think he might be our world record holder before long. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this kind of demonstrated what needed to be demonstrated, I suppose. And next, I'm going to be making a Felix the Cat video for also for demonstration purposes to submit to a marathon. So if you guys just hang tight, I'm going to go ahead and get that set up. But thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be switching to Felix the Cat now. But that run was very solid. I'm actually kind of feel bad that it wasn't timing, and I'm not really sure why I haven't been timing all night. But anyway, alright, let's go ahead and move on to Felix the Cat now.